Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode of my YouTube channel. So this week I'll be doing sort of a slideshow instead of speaking to you like this. I hope you guys enjoy the slideshow, and before we get into that, I just want to give out this week's shout outs. My first shout out goes out to Lebu. Yeah man, you've been great. And my second shout out goes out to my cousin Tando. Third shout out goes out to my mom. My momsy is always there, guys, sharing the link, making sure that the word is out there about the channel. So, mommy. I'm on my fourth shout out now. My fourth shout out goes out to Dumelo. Thanks, bro. And the last shout out goes out to Tariro, my friend. Thanks, babe, for the continuous support. So without further ado, let's get right on into the presentation. I hope you enjoy it. Epilepsy is the most common neurological condition. About 1 in every 100 people has epilepsy. Epilepsy isn't a mental illness or psychiatric disorder. It's not infectious or contagious. Epilepsy affects people of all levels of intelligence and from all racial and social backgrounds. And this is the story of one individual.
Hi guys, my name is Sheila and I'm one of Pili's friends from the university. Okay, so I realized that Pili has epilepsy when I saw her bracelet, which has information on there, her name and her condition, and I think I asked her about it and she explained it to me. And that was earlier on in our friendship, I think. And then the first time I actually saw her go through it was when we were in class in our second year, and I don't know, was it first year or second year? I don't know, I don't remember. But we were from class, we were in class, and then she went out to the bathroom, the toilet, and then she took quite some time. She didn't even come back actually. And when the class was over, we went out with her bag and we found that there was like a group of people already there and surrounding her. And yeah, my reaction, I wasn't scared as much. I feel like I've experienced other people with seizures and they were having it it was bad. I feel like at that point we found her she was already coming down, so she was not that bad, and there were people there already I was mad also. That's one of the feelings I felt. I was mad because we waited for the emergency people from campus for like a very, very long time. She even woke up before they got there. So yeah, that's how I felt. I feel like people panic way too much and they try to move the person who has fallen down without knowing what they're doing, which could be wrong because sometimes you move the person and they'll like bite their tongue or whatever. So that's how I feel. I feel like people do not move the person if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, that's how I feel. I'm very, very, very glad that I've learned so much from the condition that Pili has. I think that's it from me, guys.
The year is 2013. It is a sunny afternoon, and I have just received a 92% for my biology food nutrient project. A cloud of dizziness forced me to ask my teacher to go to the bathroom, and this is where it all started. This is where I smelled the non-existing bananas. This is where I had my first seizure. This was the beginning of life as an epileptic survivor. I had never given much thought to the car accidents which took place in 2010 until now. The effects were revealing themselves, and more than the permanent scars which it left all over my body, this accident had left a permanent scar in my brain. No one in my family has epilepsy, so unlike in most cases, I was not born with it. Photosensitive epilepsy was my diagnosis. When the beans were spilled, not much made sense. But what was clear was the strain that my parents were faced with. They continuously showed their love for me, and in the purest form. They stood strong on my behalf, and sometimes that made me lose sight of how fragile any human being can be. For me, this was the end, and I was the victim. But to them, this was only the beginning of a survival journey. The most difficult part of all of this was having to take my meds. I take 3 in the morning and 2 in the evening, equating it to 5 tablets a day. It is 7 years later, and I'm still saying what I said 7 years ago. I hate epilepsy for how it has made me a pill popper, a legal pill popper. When I was in grade 8, I imagined that in my 20s I would visit all the clubs, dance my heart out so I won't have to be at this notorious stage in my 30s. For the life of me, I cannot stand contrasting light patterns, and this is why I have not and will not be attending parties, especially where flickering light is involved. I guess this is an official goodbye to clubs. Watching a Marvel movie at the cinema is always the worst. I really applaud Kevin Feige for the great visual and special effects. But after watching Infinity War and having a seizure right after that, at the cinema door, I made a vow to watch Marvel movies from home. It's not you, Mr. Feige. It is my neurons. I am here now, as my parents would say, surviving. But more than that, I'm thriving. Many of you have this notion that if your pain was not caused by you, then you should not worry about eliminating it. But unfortunately, although some wounds weren't caused by you, their healing is your complete responsibility. I am here now, as my parents would say, surviving. But more than that, I'm blooming where I was planted. Acknowledging that I hate pills, that I cannot go to clubs, that cinemas are my worst nightmares, and that the fire drills cause me panic attacks. I acknowledge this, but I also am grateful for great medical support, meeting friends and intimate partners who would rather Netflix and chill anyway, having a mother who brings the party to me, and being in South Africa where fire drills facilitators put my needs first as an epileptic patient. Hey, no, an epileptic survivor. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I think I'll try to do more of those just to also improve my video technique. In any case, the last few words that I wanted to give to you guys is that if you know of anyone who is living with a chronic illness, who is living with something that they need to deal with for the rest of their lives, I think it's just best for you to not treat them differently because of that condition or because of that life experience. Those people are already going through the most just by experiencing that, so they really don't need you adding on to their stress levels. I hope you know more about epilepsy now, and I think the the sort of light bulb is that not everyone is born with epilepsy, and I'm one of those rare conditions where a person is not born with it, but somewhere along the lines of their life they adopt it. Until next week Monday then for the last segment of the series. Goodbye.